All right. Welcome back to the next episode of Herbie Sports Talk. I am Tyler, Big Herbie Herbuck, and across the table is Travis, Little Herbie Herbuck. Today's episode, NFL free agency.
Yeah.
We're going one topic. We're going to dive into it, give it a little more insight so we're not jumping around too much.
Yeah. First off, before I'm going to run through my best and worst signings of what I think, and Tyler's going to give me some feedback here. We want to jump in. NFL, it just reported by Adam Schefter that the NFL will be changing from 16 regular season games to 17.
Mm-hmm.
That is expected to be finalized within this next week, which is something that's been talked about for a little while, and as most people agree with, is not necessary. Me and Tyler have always thought another game is not necessary.
Yeah.
It's just going to put more injury out to the players and hurt the playoff scheme if you're going to have more people, those stars, not be on the field.
Right.
Or that Week 17 is going to be garbage because you're going to rest every single player unless they have to be fighting for a playoff spot. And those games are just going to completely waste of time.
Yeah, the one thing we don't know yet that hasn't been announced is whether or not they're changing the preseason format,
Right.
which players will probably like. But most players are against this also.
Yeah.
Even Alvin Kamara came out immediately on Twitter and was like, this is stupid. And it all comes back, it's hard for the NFL to harp on player safety and then but we want you to play a whole extra game where you could, ruin your career.
Yeah. For how much they are about all the protocols for hitting correctly and all the fouls and stuff for that and fines for it. But let's put them through not even a whole nother extra game. You got to talk about all the extra practices, all the extra hours at the training facility, all the extra hours studying. That's all in taking away their time and physical ability inside the game. It's also the thing about their personal health and their personal lives.
Right.
16 games, you're talking that many months of the season, they're away from their families a lot. They're away from their kids or children. Or if they're even at home on a home game, they're at the stadium. They're out there working majority of the day.
Right.
You're asking them to put a whole nother week of their life aside for a game that either could get them hurt or they have to sit out because it's a waste of time. It's just a waste of a week for the majority of these players.
Yeah, for sure. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, there's going to be more news coming out on that. Here probably very quickly. So,
Yeah.
We'll keep you updated on that also. But let's go ahead and move into free agency. Before we go into any specific players, we got to talk about the Patriots.
Yeah.
The Patriots spent, the Patriots have never spent, and almost any team has ever spent, honestly. They spent, in total contracts, dollar-wise, over $300 million they gave out.
Absolutely insane.
I mean, they want Bill Belichick. I mean, he knew that the cap was going down, but they had a ton of cap space, and so now, I mean, they signed the two top tight ends. They have, John Smith and Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
They go out and get Judon to help their pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just the bigger names, but they did a lot. They made the trades with Oakland to bring back Trent Brown.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick is going all in. Now, granted, most teams don't win through free agency, and this is not the way he's ever built a team. Not he normally cherry picks weird little pickups here and there.
Right.
So it's interesting to see that he's going total opposite of what his normal MO is.
Yeah, honestly, and I think it came down to when Tom left, and they were like, who's going to win the breakup, blah, blah, blah. Obviously,
Right.
we know Tom Brady did. That was very obvious what that Tampa Bay team did, even prior to the season starting. Just the players they were able to recruit, obviously, was on Tom's side. But I also think it came down to, was Tom the system? When we talk about Belichick being the GOAT, and his system is just so bulletproof. But it was bulletproof, it seems like, because Tom Brady was the leader of it.
Right.
When you take that leader out, you don't have these guys that can do it. Cam Newton, obviously, couldn't do it. He got also injury, and also is not the same caliber player. And so I think it was okay, I can't just keep the same system when you lose the guy who's been the leader of the entire system, who kept the entire team intact, in place, in the right time, the right moments, kept them going. So maybe it was okay, I need to get more just talent then. If I don't have the guy to lead everybody else, I need to bring in people that can all together just be talented as hell.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Patriots the last year had one of the least talented rosters in the entire NFL.
Yeah.
The fact they still won 8 games is actually probably because of Bill Belichick and how good of a schemer he is. I mean, I probably actually feels like he just needed to add more talent. If they can mesh it together, plus Cam Newton coming back in the second year in this system, will be huge for Cam Newton himself because they can run a pretty complicated offensive system, and it will always help being there for an extra year. Plus having a true offseason to actually really be able to jump into it and break it down.
Right.
should help that way too. I mean, I fully expect the Patriots to be back in the playoffs next year.
I won't put them that far. I think they got a lot of pieces that got to mesh, and not having, if Cam Newton is not the leader that needs to pull the guys together, then that will derail them. I think they have a great potential to get there, but Cam needs to be the leader of the whole team and pull those guys together.
Right. I mean, I think he can. Again, like it was his first year, injuries, no off season. There's a lot of things that went into last year that could have made that not work very well. So.
Oh, definitely. But let's move into some players here. I got five players I think were some of the best signings that we've seen this offseason.
I haven't seen this list yet. I'm just giving honest feedback on what he thinks and just kind of giving my own analyzing it on my own as it happens.
Yeah, and so my first one, Curtis Samuel, the receiver that was with the Carolina Panthers, signed with the new Washington football team. 3-year, $34.5 million contract. $23 million is fully guaranteed. And he put up 185 receptions, 12 touchdowns, and 2,087 yards in the last 2 seasons. For me, that money, comparatively to some other contracts I'll get to that I thought were bad signings, he's right up there with the top echelon when it comes to stat points right now, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good... I mean, he's kind of broke out. We don't know how good he can be because he was technically the third receiver in Carolina. So we'll see. He could be better. It's great that he's moving up the depth chart a little bit. He'll be the number 2 there. Yeah. You have another really good receiver on the other side in Scary Terry. So
Terry McLaurin.
So that'll be a really good 1-2 combination there.
Yeah. And you got to think a lot of speed too. Both those guys are fast players. They can get downfield quick.
Yep. And honestly, not just them too. This whole Washington offense, if they can figure out quarterback, this offense is gonna be pretty damn good. Actually.
Well, now they got Fitzmagic.
Oh, that's right. I forgot they signed.
We got to forget. So who knows if he can play well and you can use that to the advantage and that defense stays how it was or even improves, like I assume it will. They're probably going to be another playoff team.
Maybe.
I could see them leading that division this upcoming year.
Yeah, I could see that too. Because the defense will probably get better. Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio are great together on the defense side of the ball. So that's easy. Offense, you have Antonio Gibson back there. And adding Fitzpatrick, which is he can be very up and down, but he's actually gotten better his entire career every year. Like the older he gets, the better he gets. He's like a fine wine.
He's aging well.
He is.
So, but no, I think that's a great pickup. I think that puts him not only in a better position to shine, but Washington money wise and team wise upgraded and 100% without too much compromise on money. So I think that's good. My second good one, also second receiver, Nelson Aguilar. Was with the Las Vegas Raiders. Went to New England. Bill Belichick paid out. Some can say he paid a little too much because it's only a 2-year, $22 million. He probably could have got a 3-year, $22 million, and the money wise would seem better worth it.
It's only $11 million a year, though. Like it's not.
Yeah, and $16 million is guaranteed. The last 3 seasons, 272 receptions, 26 touchdowns, and 3,400 yards.
Yeah, I mean. Aguilar's his whole issue his entire career is that he drops. He leads the league in drops, I'm pretty sure. So that's an issue. My other issue is that he's going into the Patriots and he's technically be the number 1 receiver there because they don't have any other receivers, but they just bring in Hunter Henry and John Newsmith. Right. So they'll probably be more of your focal point in terms of the passing game anyways. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with Aguilar because he finally broke out going to Las Vegas last year. Yeah. John Gruden, absolutely unleashed him deep, which Philadelphia never did. Philadelphia ran him from the slot, and all he did was go across the middle over and over and over again. Yeah. Last year, he doubled his average in yards per reception. He went from 9 yards in his career to 18 last year. So I mean, so are they going to use him as a deep threat again? It's going to be interesting to see how New England uses him in this offense. I don't mind the money, honestly. I think $11 million a year for Aguilar is probably pretty good. I mean, the top receivers are making $16-17 million a year, so.
Yeah, no, I think it was a solid pickup. And money wise, he's been showing. My only concern is he's getting a downgrading quarterback and throwing capabilities compared to Derek Carr to Cameron Newton.
Cameron Newton?
I don't know. I feel like I said Derek Carr's full name. I had to say Cam's full name. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Cam's name is actually just Cam. They don't call him. I think it's legally just Cam.
It might be, but I want full name. I had to continue the trend. It just flowed out. But he goes to the number 1, and they're probably going to be more traditional football focused, double tight end sets, running the ball. You got Cam back there. They're probably going to do a lot of zone options and stuff with him just to pull the linebackers in. So maybe he can get some easy play action passes over the middle, some easy out routes, comeback routes, things like that, just to feed him.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But I think money wise and what he's been able to produce the last couple seasons, I think that was an easy contract for him to see and take.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think it's benefits for him. Moving to my third best, we're going to switch to running back here, Chris Carson for the Seattle Seahawks. He re-signed with the Seahawks, 2-year deal, $10.5 million, $5.5 million guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
But most of it comes down to, since he's been in the league for, I believe, 4 seasons, he has 4.6 yard average, which is outstanding. Is one of the best in the league in the last 4 years. 21 touchdowns and 3,200 rushing yards.
Yeah. Chris Carson, we're Seahawks fans, obviously. And so I love Chris Carson. I think Chris Carson doesn't get his due as good of a running back he really is. His issue is it's health. He's never played 16 full games. He's never played 16 games in a season. He gets hurt pretty often. But the money's good and it's completely voidable. Like all the guaranteed money's in the first year.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't work, they can cut him. After the season.
Right.
And redo it. It's a pretty low market deal for him, and I think it's probably because he wasn't going to get anything more. I mean, $5.5 million for arguably a top 10 running back in the league is really low.
It's on the low, and I think what also caused him to take the deal is because you said the money's up front. That $5.5 million it will be paid out instantly.
Right.
And I think with the other drama that Seattle had with Russell Wilson, I don't think he wanted to sign long term if Russ wasn't going to be his quarterback. I think they have a good connection there as player to player and guy to guy. That I think that definitely played a role in it. He goes, I don't want to be here forever if we don't have the leader in Russ still here.
Could be.
And if he wasn't getting any market value given injuries and a couple of last 2 seasons of fumble issues as well a little bit, maybe he's like, give me some money. Let's see what this next season leads to.
Right, yeah. If he comes back and puts up another 1,000-yard season, it's actually even better for him because he'll still be I think like 27 or 28, and then he can go sign a final long-term deal and cash out.
Yeah, but I mean, when it comes to stats, he's one of the best guys in the league.
Mm-hmm. If you haven't watched, honestly, he's really fun just to watch run because he runs just hard.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of like Marshawn Lynch in that matter. Like it's always kind of just falling forward,
Yeah, big, strong, physical guy. So I have another running back on the list here, Leonard Fournette from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We didn't expect him to resign at all, mostly from cap reasons, but also they signed Ronald Jones, who was their number 1 back going through the later part of the season. But I look at his average and what he did since he's entered the league. By the way, it's a 1-year contract. I think he's back there. I think he just wants a championship ring, honestly, at this point. But 3 years, $3.2 million, and it's all fully guaranteed because it's such a low contract.
Right.
Instantly paid out. But since he's been in the league 4 years, same as Chris Carson actually, 3.9 yard average, 23 touchdowns, 3,000 yards. So outside of the average being lower than Chris Carson's, he's better touchdowns and just below in yards, which obviously comes from rushing averages.
Right. I mean, he certainly helped his career getting out of Jacksonville. He looked very disinterested there. He's definitely more engaged now. Yeah. Plus, I mean, when Ronald Jones got hurt towards the end of the year, he really stepped up and played really well. He actually played probably the best ball of his career in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's great, signing by them. It's great that they brought him back. And one side note on Tampa Bay, they've returned all 22 starters from their Super Bowl winning team. That has not happened since 1979. Mm-hmm. That's insane. They brought back all 20, and no one expected them to be able to re-sign all their free agents.
Yeah,
but they did, because they all took less money to come back. Mm-hmm. They're like, no, we really want to run this back.
Yeah, I think the person that actually got the most money was the receiver, the franchise tag. I'm forgetting his name. Godwin. I was gonna say Goodwin, but I knew that was wrong. Godwin, I think he got the most just because the franchise tag is a certain amount of money. It wasn't a contract signing.
Right. The franchise tag averages the top 5 contracts at your position. They average those 5 out, and that's the money that you get for that position.
Yeah. So I think he just solely because of how that is negotiated out, he had no choice. I think he actually ended up pulling the most out of it.
Right, and they might still be able to sign him to a long-term deal. They have until mid-July to do that.
Yeah. The Tampa Bay team is there to repeat. They 100% are fully in, and I like it. I like their strategy. I said Tom Brady, what he did there, I said weeks ago after they won the championship, that the way they're able to put that offense together, we don't see teams in the NFL do an offseason where they bring a group of guys together, put them together, almost an NBA type wise, and they go win a championship.
Yeah,
and the fact that their front office was able to repeat those same guys, get them there, get them paid, they all want to be there. This team is just going to change the way the league is run from the front office down. And if the front office GMs aren't changing it, then they're falling behind on the way they run the team.
This only works, though, with a guy like Tom Brady because he's willing to take less money. I mean, he restructured his contract again this year to make sure that happened. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty crazy. So unless you have a guy who's willing to do that, though, it's not going to be able to be replicated.
Probably not. It takes a special quarterback with good skills and the knowledge to, like, this game is not just about me making a bunch of money and then leaving it. If you find a QB like that and a GM and an owner who's kind of have seen what Tampa Bay has done, then that's going to be scary for anybody who's going to pull that off. So I said that a long time ago. I want to repeat myself. It's changing the way that league is going to be ran.
All right.
And my last one, another receiver here. Most of them, most signings are high talented, skilled position guys. Emmanuel Sanders left New Orleans after a 1-year deal. Go to Buffalo on a 1-year deal as well. $6 million, $5.9 million guaranteed. Don't know why the $100,000 is not guaranteed. That doesn't make sense, but it's probably guaranteed in a single incentive.
Right.
But he for Buffalo, and I have his stats here because I don't think it matters for the stats. It matters for Josh Allen. You see what Stephon Diggs did for him this season. That offense went crazy, and you still have little guy in the
Beasley,
Cole Beasley, and your slot guy, and you put Emmanuel Sanders, high veteran, easy, more of a possession type of receiver on the opposite of Stephon Diggs, and you have Cole Beasley in the middle. If they can get a run game where they're not extremely one-dimensional, that Buffalo team is going to be even more dangerous than it was last year. But I think solely based off the veteran status that Sanders brings in, that him and Josh Allen together will become even a better leader to get that group of guys together.
Okay. I like the 1-year deal. The money is not big, like it doesn't hurt him. But I actually don't think he really helps the offense that much because he's essentially there to replace John Brown, who they lost.
Okay.
They're very similar receivers. John Brown's actually a little bit younger. He's more injury prone though, so there's that. But I think he's just there he's gonna just replicate what John Brown has been doing for Cole Beasley, or not Cole Beasley, but for Jared Allen, and it's just gonna keep going. What Buffalo I think really needs, and I would have been great if they could got one of the top tight ends, or another running back because, their running attack was just terrible last year, and they don't seem to have anybody who can really cut it. Maybe
not. Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I think I think veteran wise and leadership wise, it probably just adds to Josh Allen's experience and repertoire and type of whatnot. But we'll see if production wise it keeps up. If he can be there as an help. So that's my best ones. Let's go through the worst ones here. This one I already know Tyler disagrees with because we mentioned it a little while ago. Trent Williams. The left tackle signing for the 49ers, the largest payout in NFL history for a lineman.
Yep.
And it's not even close. You're talking like $20+ million more than the second closest guy. Now, don't get me wrong. Trent Williams is the best tackle in the league, and that's an understatement. If
he's not the best, he's like second.
Yeah, but if he's the best, you're talking the other guys, Eric Fisher's, the Whitworth. Eric Fisher tore his ACL. Andrew Whitworth is he's 38, 39.
Whitworth actually just retired.
And then Tyron Smith and Zach Wilson from the Dallas are getting older and getting injured.
Well, you have Ronnie Stanley in Baltimore.
He's probably the other guy that would be on the same tier as Trent Williams.
But Mekhi Becton up in New York, that he was a rookie last year, played really well. Yeah. There's a few guys, but
Trent Williams is definitely one of the top tiers. Don't get me wrong; they're extremely valuable. But you're paying a guy 6 years, $138 million. 6 years, not a huge deal. A lot of left tackles and linemen played to their late 30s and 40s. This puts him at 39 at the end of his deal because he's currently 33. My issue is $138 million. $55 million is guaranteed. That guaranteed salary puts him number 22 and the highest in NFL ever. Highest average in history.
Yeah.
That is, don't get me wrong, again, he's important, but $130 million, the 49ers had more issues than just their one left tackle. That money should have been a little bit lower. If you paid him $100 million, fine. $38 million to go fix some of your other issues. Because 49ers have other holes they need to fix.
What other holes though? Like, and I'm being completely honest with it. Like, most of the holes that they had last year were because of injury, not because they didn't have the guys. Because they all got hurt.
I think
they're all going to be back this year.
They need help on the receiver side. Is mostly what I'm seeing.
I actually they have like very unique receivers. Where you have Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and a couple other guys. They kind of do a lot of little things, a lot of like gadgety type stuff. But that's perfect for Kyle Shanahan's offense. So this is one I completely disagree with. Yeah. Trent Williams deserved the money, and they really need him because like you lose a left tackle. Plus, not to mention they just moved up to the number 3 spot in the draft. They're taking a rookie quarterback at number 3. You don't trade up if you're not, right? It sounds like Jimmy G's sticking around this year, the report so far. So you're gonna need someone to protect your rookie, and you gotta protect Jimmy G too because Jimmy G gets hurt all the time and he can't move.
He can't move.
I mean, there's a reason why they want him to be the heir apparent of Tom Brady in New England. They're the same damn quarterback. They don't move.
That's true. That is true. So I already know you don't agree with it. The signing is good, but $138 million is just too much. They could have structured that a little bit better in my eyes.
But you also have to think too, like by the time that in 2 years that deal's not going to even matter because the cap is going to like skyrocket after this season.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason that the cap even dropped this coming year is because of COVID, and even then they expected it. It's actually they even still set the cap higher than they even expected it.
Yeah, only dropped by $5 million.
Yeah, I mean, so like honestly, come next year's cap, I bet you they put the cap limit to like $200 million, which has never done before. It's gonna skyrocket, and then and after next year, it's gonna look like a piece of cake that contract.
It could. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, I'd hate for him to come in get injured or something and just be a complete
that would suck.
Dud waste. Just I saw $130 million. I was like, holy shit. It's like okay, let's dive into this a little bit. Okay. Number 2 guy I have Bud Dupree.
All right, fair.
5-year deal, $82.5 million, $35 million guaranteed. He's an outside pass rusher. Left the Steelers, go to Tennessee Titans.
Yep.
My issue is this puts him tied 6th most in the NFL. Well, if you look down the list, he's also tied 6th with Chandler Jones, the defensive end from Arizona Cardinals.
Now, over the last 5 years, has led the league in sacks.
Yeah, so in the amount of same years because Jones has been in the league longer than Bud Dupree has.
Right.
But the same amount of years they've been. Bud Dupree has 39.5 sacks, 230 tackles. Chandler Jones has 73.5 sacks and 265 tackles.
In the same
time frame. 4 or 5 years that Bud Dupree's in the league. So you're talking Chandler doubled his sack total.
Yeah.
Doubled it. And there was 2 years in back-to-back that he did lead the league at 17, 18 sacks back-to-back seasons. Mm-hmm. So you're talking Chandler Jones is tied 6th with them. That's not worth the money, especially not on a 5-year deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have maybe done a 3 or 4 year deal. Maybe he's still paying $45 million out, $45.50 maybe on a 4-year. But to put that much down for a 5-year guy that hasn't produced the same numbers as a guy's at equal level to him, that's just ridiculous. They paid way too much for him.
Yeah, part of the issue was that the pass rushing market in this free agency class was pretty weak, and so you're going to end up overpaying because if you only have a couple guys to choose from, you're gonna pick the shiniest apple even if they're all rotten. So you're gonna just kind of be forced to overpay, especially at a premium position. So guys like Bud Dupree who they're good, they're solid starters, but they're not superstars. But you're gonna pay them like a superstar because you don't have a choice. Because if you don't, then you have someone even worse than Bud Dupree doing it. And let's be completely honest, Tennessee Titans need to do something with their pass rush because it was terrible last year.
It was terrible. Yeah, signing Jadeveon Clowney did no good for them.
No,
he did not produce absolute dog crap, and even obviously injury, which has been his entire NFL career. So I mean, they had to make a change, but $82.5 million contract.
It's a lot.
It's too much. Too much for the guy for what he's produced so far. So, number 3 worst, Kenny Golladay. And I don't know how you feel about this. He's don't get me wrong, good, solid receiver. But in comparison to what other receivers have done. So his 4-year contract, $72 million, $40 million is guaranteed money. That puts him tied 6th for money in terms of receiver statuses. Now, let me run you through 2 other guys that are also exactly tied 6th with him in terms of average money per year. Okay, let me first give you the stats Kenny Golladay has in the last 4 years. Or I believe it's the last 4 seasons.
Okay.
Since he's entered the league. 183 receptions, 21 touchdowns, 3,000 yards.
Okay. He did miss like this entire last season though.
Yeah. So yeah, you got to give injuries here. Okay, and that tied 6 with him as well. Tyreek Hill. Tyreek has 307 receptions, 41 touchdowns, and 4,800 yards.
Okay.
Also tied 6 with him, Odell Beckham Jr. 199 receptions, and we got to remember Odell has missed. He only had half of this last season, and he missed all of one season when he broke his leg with the Giants.
Right.
So he's missed almost a season and a half in the last 4 seasons. 199 receptions, 16 touchdowns, and 2,700 yards. That is absurd. Tyreek Hill, 100 plus more receptions, doubles the touchdowns, and almost 2,000 yards more. Odell, that's played a season and a half less than Kenny Galladay, or about a season less, because Kenny has his own issues and health. Beat him in receptions, only 5 behind him in touchdown receptions, and 300 yards behind him in receiving yards.
Right.
You're talking. They way overpaid for him.
Could be who signed him again? I can't remember who he signed with.
I believe he signed with the Giants.
Oh yeah, that's right. Giants went heavy in the free agency this year though.
They did as well.
So they're trying to go for it. I think they realize that they have a rookie quarterback, and on a rookie quarterback scale wage, you got to try to win now because that's the best way of doing it. But going back to Galladay, I mean the thing is the way that the market played out this year with Godwin being franchise tag, and a couple other guys, I can't remember who was all supposed to be free agents, but Kenny Galladay, kind of same thing with Bud Dupree, became the number 1 receiver on the market.
Yeah, they agreed with, but just when you compare him to guys that are getting average the same money, Tyreek Hill and Odell Beckham Jr. when Odell's healthy are levels above Kenny Galladay's skill.
So the one thing with Kenny Galladay is that I don't feel like enough people have given I've given him his due because he's played up in Detroit that no one watches outside of Detroit. Not even people that still live in the Great Lakes area. They don't care about Detroit. Only people within Detroit care about the fucking Lions.
Yeah, and we got to think too. He could have been. There was a couple of years he was overshadowed by Marvin Jones Jr. as well because he had a couple of light out years, and Kenny Galladay's first couple of years in the league. Right,
and Kenny Galladay, this is going to be his 5th season coming up. He's only played 4 years. The couple of years that Marvin Jones overshadowed were his rookie and sophomore seasons.
Exactly.
So
yeah, so maybe I think his name's probably definitely under known just because of the market he was within. But when you bring up stats in terms of free agency market, his stats don't line up with the amount he's getting paid.
Right, that's true.
So, but I think the Giants were there to make a move. I think they know if Jones doesn't get them into the playoffs, Jones is probably a goner.
QB, for sure, it has to be.
So, let's move on to my very last one, which we did bring up. We actually mentioned his name just earlier. We're talking about the Patriots.
Okay.
Jonnu Smith, one of the 2 tight ends that Patriots took. The number 1, they took number 1 and number 2 tight end that were available on the market. My issue is when it comes to stats in comparison to Hunter Henry, who's been injured a majority of his career back and forth. Say they played in the league the same amount of years. Hunter Henry's performance is far double Jonnu Smith, and they paid Jonnu Smith 4 years, $50 million, $31.25 million in guaranteed money. Where Hunter Henry's, I don't have his contract exactly, but I know it's a 3-year deal for $30-ish million, somewhere in that range. But if you compare the stats, Jonnu Smith, 114 receptions, 16 touchdowns, and 1,300 yards, okay? In the same time frame of Hunter Henry, Henry has 196 receptions, 21 touchdowns, and 2,300 yards.
Okay.
So you're talking 70 more receptions, 5 more touchdowns, and 1,000 plus more yards. And again, Hunter Henry has been extremely injured, 2 different seasons where he's missed almost the majority of the season.
Right. Okay, well, that's why Hunter Henry got less money, because you can't rely on him to even be on the field.
Yeah.
Secondly, I completely disagree with this. Jonnu Smith was by far the best tight end on the market.
Yeah.
2, if you look at going a little more advanced statistics for Jonnu Smith, he has a 98% catch rate. It's one of the best in the league, regardless of position. And the reason that his stats are low is because the Titans don't utilize their tight ends. Their offense just doesn't utilize them a lot.
Okay.
So I expect a program and an offense that utilizes tight ends like the Patriots do. The Patriots, obviously, clearly getting both these guys was trying to get back to Gronk and Hernandez days, right? That's clearly the idea with this. With him being the focal point, the number 1 option probably in this passing offense, I think Jonnu Smith is about to have a huge season.
Okay. I mean, you're not wrong. He's probably going to have a bigger output season given the better system.
Mm-hmm.
But I think so the money that they paid for, a little too much given a guy that hasn't shown the stats line to compare.
I think after this season, you'll be changing your tune.
That might be. Maybe they're betting on the positive side of things.
Yeah, again, Jonnu Smith catches everything. I don't have his exact drop, like his catch rate, but it's insane. It's like top 5 in the NFL for like tight end, receiver, running back. Didn't matter. It's crazy. So
I guess I could be wrong. This is my first initial opinions and whatnot. Do you have any guys on your best worst? Just like quick top of your head that like you just instantly noticed when they were signed.
Not a ton. Not for signings. I mean, the free agent market this year was a little rough. Shaq Griffin went to Jacksonville. He got overpaid because he was the best corner on the market.
Yeah.
But he's solid, but he's not like a lockdown corner by any means.
No.
Last year he had his career high in interceptions was just 3. So he's not that. But he did also have like 18 pass deflections. So like high that way. So it'll be, it's not surprising that he got paid though.
Yeah.
Like he was the best, best corner on the market. He's gonna get paid like a really top end corner because of that. Like you have to pay to get him.
Right.
So that was one of them. Jacksonville also signed a receiver. I can't remember who it was that I actually really liked the signing of though. I cannot for the life of me remember who it was though. I'll have to look that one up. I don't know, but a couple things like that. I really like what New England did. Just overall, I like that they're getting aggressive with it.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's just different. I like that. It kind of seems like Bill Belichick is throwing down the gauntlet.
Yeah, I think he definitely did. I think he, like I said, some of the narratives kind of came out that he can't do this system without Brady because Brady was a system, all that bull crap.
Yeah.
I think he probably read a couple. Was like, all right, you know what? I've been doing this for a long time. Fuck you guys. Let's go get some people.
Right. He's like, let me show you.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold my beer.
Exactly. Yeah, hold my beer. Let me toss some money out here.
So like what Tampa did is literally unprecedented.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. I love what they did. The biggest thing, it's hard as hell to go back to back. That's why it hasn't happened for 20 years. The Patriots did it in 02-03. That was the last team to do it.
Yeah.
It's really hard, and I think most of it is there's a couple reasons. It's not so much a talent thing. It's a complacency issue.
Mm-hmm.
You've already won one. Can you get the drive to win again? Secondly, it's that every team is going to give you their absolute best because you are the
champion
benchmark to say how good of a team I am.
Right. True. Yeah, but what they did and the way they were able to pull it off, and the group of guys that they have that all want to be there, it's outstanding. It's something you don't see in NFL history.
No, yeah,
all those guys. Tom Brady's one of the only guys that ever took continuous pay cuts throughout his entire career to put better guys around him. He's a damn genius for doing it. But now you're talking about receivers who have a shorter NFL playing span, running backs have a shorter NFL playing span, taking less money because they want to keep that team together to win. Mm-hmm. That's something that's beyond unprecedented.
Yeah, the other thing I'd like about this offseason so far, just the change I'm seeing in the NFL in general. Like trades used to be we get a trade here or there. Trades are all over the place now. Yeah. We had dozens of trades already. Miami made 2 different trades just earlier this week for the draft, going from 3 to 12, then back up to 6. Like teams are getting really aggressive with the NBA or with trades, and it reminds me of the NBA. The NBA does this, right? The NBA free agency in the NBA is exciting.
Bonkers. It's bonkers.
It's so exciting. Opening day of free agency in the NBA. All you want to do is stare at Adrian Wojnarowski's Twitter account and just see what's coming through because it's amazing. And the NFL seems to be going that way. People aren't trying to hoard their draft picks anymore. They're like, no, I want to go get this star player.
Yep.
I'm going to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, people want to get championships. Like I said, what Tampa Bay did was NBA-esque in terms of it's just like comparing what the Nets did. They went and got 5-star players, put them around. Exactly what Tampa Bay did. They went and got all these skilled players, these star guys, put them together, and they found a leader, and Tom Brady, and they're like, we're going to go win.
Right.
And that's good. And now they're like, let's do it again. I mean, we haven't seen that done since KD went to the Warriors. They created. You talk about the big threes we've seen in the NBA. Mm-hmm. That's similar-esque. But then the Nets, I think, as well, like you're saying, did 5-star players. So if the NFL's,
two of them are fringe star players, like Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge.
Used to be star players, though.
Yeah.
But if you're talking the NFL, yeah, we're starting to see a lot more trade frenzy, especially with draft picks, moving them up in the draft or using their draft picks to go get star players more consistently.
I think teams are they're just more willing to.
I think they want to win now. I think they understand that the Patriots will be probably the last dynasty that we'll ever see in the NFL.
Yeah.
And they're here to win now.
For sure.
And I mean, given the NFL lifespan of players, which I mean, think as a whole, regardless of position group, it's like 4 years. The guys are like, they want to pay out and win, and then go live their lives.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're looking for the best situations too.
Absolutely. So I mean, I don't know that.
That's everything I got for free agency. I mean, if you got nothing else to add.
No, I think it's called a wrap.
It's called a wrap. Let us know what you guys think of our picks and discussions. If you got anybody in free agency that you thought differently of.
Yeah, let us know. Herbie Sports Talk on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, but besides that, we'll be back here next weekend talking more everything, more sports, and of course March Madness.
All right, guys. See you next time.
Peace out.